Okay. Here is the one question about our previous exam. We have a lat center. We have 9 parts in the part list, and they are mounted on each other. We have a body part, the number 1. We have the center part and the cover. Also, we have some standard parts, as I have told before. Here we have the barrel, cover, center, sleeve, and cover. Again, the cover. One is on the front side, the other one is on the back side. We have also some standard parts. We have a set screw, and also we have the cap screw, hexagon socket, counter sink head screws for connecting the barrel to the cover side. Okay, let's start with the part assembly modeling. I will just use, this time I'm going to use 2018. You can use, if you want, I can just switch to 2020 if you want so. ...2020, 2018 sizin için fark eder mi arkadaşlar? Okay. Here I'm going to start with standard millimetric IEM file. It just warns me about the standard figure here. The first thing, I will just recall the parts from the folder which I'm going to work with it. Okay. We have the barrel. By pressing the control button, I will just recall all standard parts into our assembly environment. I have brought the part with just left click. I will have the one copy. If you want to copy much more, you can just click to have the copies. I will just take it and do for other parts. Okay. The first thing in the assembly, before starting, please do this one. Take the biggest part, or take the body part, or take the grounded part. In our case, we have the barrel here. Please make it right click and have this one grounded. You can also use this way, this window. You can have the grounded. This just saves you to have the fix and to install our parts on and on. Okay, I will adjust my screen. Okay, then I will just go and search for the parts here. Okay. I will adjust the screen and also the body part. The next, we need the part number 1. I will search for the library this time. We have a 711 SKF truss bearing in single direction. I will just go and place from content center. Search for the library. And from this magnifier, I will search for 711. With OK, or search now. As you see, we have 2 options in your assemblies. I will just go for 711 for SKF. I will go here. From the menu here, I have many options. As you see, you can also search for it, and you can take this menu here, or you can just use this menu again for searching. It's up to you. Okay. I will search this time, this menu, and I will just go for 1 to 408 here, which is this point. With double click, I will just recall this part. This is the part 1. The second part, I will again place from content center. I will search for 625 with search now. Again, that is an SKF one bearing here, this one, and search for it. And bring here with left click. And from here, I will search the number 600, I'm sorry, 6408. 64. Yes, this one. You can also search for it. As you see, it is number 99 on the table view. Here I will just bring the number on the last 2 digits with multiplication with 5 gives you the diameter which just this bearing inserted into it. Okay, the next, we have 2 standard parts, but before this one, we just use the screws and other things afterwards. We can just adjust that parts here. I will first mount on each other. Okay, here I have this center part here, and before this one I have the number 2, which is this SKF 625. First I will just make the constraint and select the centers of these 2 parts. Also, I will just go back to this point. Okay, this is the first mounting here. And after this one, after the other shaft part here, this seating point, this step, I will adjust this SKF part. I will rotate, first of all, with escape, change my orientation, and have the constraint this part to this part. As you see, it is moving, so I will have to touch these 2 faces. I will again constrain this face to the back face with OK. Now this is a group just inserted to, it can be inserted to the barrel here. I will again make constraint this part to this part. Okay. The next we have a cover. Also we have a bushing and the cover on the back side. The next thing, I will just insert the bushing and the other parts. For this, what I'm going to do is, I cannot see inside because we will have too much inside operation. I will just go and search for these parts here, and I will just make the operations for cutting purposes. For here, I will just enlarge my view. I have a half section view, but from here, I will use some origin points, origin objects to have the half section view. The next thing, what I'm going to do is I will just first have shaded with edges to see better here. Okay. The next thing, I will just go half section view, select XY plane. You can also select YZ plane. It depends on your orientation. I will use XY plane to have this cross section. As you see, when I have just made the cross section, other parts are disappeared. With right click, you can just change your flip section to have the other side view. Okay? You can flip this section. Okay. Now we have the parts in one side and we will just mount them on. Okay. The next, I will have the constraint. This time, I will search this figure here. We have the cap, and after that cap, we will just squeeze the bush part between the cover and the barrel side. We will just make constraint this bushing to the center here with OK. I will just move outside because I will need the touching face of these two elements to each other. Okay. The next constraint, I will mate the surfaces, this one, and take it other side view, and this one, mate it to each other, as you see. I have mated these two faces. Then OK. After each assembly figure, please make all the things to check again. I will also go for this cover side and select this axis, go outside and select and wait for the barrel axis. Okay. Then I will just remove this part out of our assembly. Okay. The next, I will constrain this face to other face. You see, we have just made all the connections here. The next, what I'm going to do is, I will just make this bearing sit on or touching at the back face of our barrel here. I will have the constraint tool, select this face, go to other side, and select the face of our barrel. The next, I will just go and have this constraint, mate axis, then this axis or the barrel axis. It is the same for us. I will just move to outside to have this one. Here at this point, I will just go and select, save my assembly like the center here. The next, I will just make a new constraint, create a new constraint, this face and the other face of our part. We will just make it touch to each other. Okay. The next, we have a hole here. As you see some hole details here. I will lastly just give another constraint between this hole and the hole here. Now it is just all the parts are fixed. And save your part files. The next, we have two parts here. One, we have a set screw on the other side, and we have one screw for this connection of the cover. For this, I will just have the view without end section and use and recall the parts that we have here. We have two parts here, the hexagon socket and the hexagon socket with set screw. The number, ISO numbers here, I will just search for the library. Place from content center. First of all, I will just move it a little. Here again, open the place content center and search for the numbers here. 10, 62, 64, 2. I will search this number and I will just call this threaded fastener. And from here, we have just place one with metric 8. As you see, we have a metric 8 with the nominal length here, which is 20. I will create three screws, 1, 2, and 3. I will make inserted to our parts assembly. The next, we will just recall 40 to 26. This is a screw without a head. I will just go for this one, and it is again metric 8 to 10. Metric 8 is the size, 10 is the length. Metric 8 is the size, 10 is the length. The next, I will constrain axis first, apply. The next one, axis to this axis. The next, apply. Next, this way, I cannot see. I will change my view orientation and select this axis with OK. Okay. The next, we have a set screw, but let's make these sit on this face. This one, I will just give another mate condition. This face, this point, somewhere here. I have just inserted one. The next, you can just use this bolt face or screw face by using the other condition. I will make this face and this face to be flushed. This face and this face to be flushed. You cannot, if you, the easiest way, if I move this one, I can move the others also. The next, we have a set screw. Let's move. Where is it? Yes, this one. I will insert to this place. I will just make the constraint, select this axis, and select the axis here. I will just insert. The next thing I will make, we have a round object here. I will just get a tangent constraint. This face, this time, I will just get this face, or you can just, again, tangent this corner to this face, to inside. Or you can just make mate this point on this face, this time on the side. This point tangent to again, this point of this surface or you can just leave it as it is. Okay. like this or
Hocam bu
something.
parçanın orada olduğunu nerede belirtiyor acaba PDF'lerde?
3 şeyde vardır. Patlatılmış görüntüde olmuş olması lazım. Şu arkalarda bir yerde bak. Görüyor musun?
Gördüm hocam, teşekkürler.
Rica ederim. Şeyde burada kesmemişim. Çünkü şu arkadaşı göstermek için. Okay. Our assembly is finished. Please save your files. And please open a new technical drawing. New technical drawing with ISO IDB. We have one assembly view with cross section here. We have the part views. Okay. The first thing, what I'm going to do is I will just get this center view. Here, if I get this view, then I cannot get the cross-sectional view, something like this. I can just break it out if you want so. Or you can just use this sectional view. For this, I will just rotate it, my view. And I will just create a sectional view from here. Again, the first tab, the first button. We have the base view. I need the sectional view, which I have in the technical drawing. First, I place this one, and I can adjust the scale. I can make it bigger with 1 to 2, 3, or 1 to 4, a little bit smaller. 1 to 4 is enough for our sketch in our drawing. With OK. I first create this first view. The next thing, I will just make a sectional cut here. You can also use this one, or you can just, if you want a special cut, something like this, like the CC sectional view. For this, I will just stick a sketch to it, for example, like this. I will just start a sketch by selecting this view, and I will just make an L line, an arbitrary line, like this. This tells us, we tell the software where to cut. This is our knife path. We will just cut out this section. Then what we are going to do is, these all have the horizontal constraint. This one has the horizontal constraint. But we do not stop these lines. We do not attach these lines. For example, I would like to attach this corner point to origin. For here, I'm going to make a coincident constraint. Select this one. I have this point coincident on this origin point. Now I have the horizontal line here and also this line here. To pass from here or here, as you see, we have another point here. I would like to have this time this line passing from this point. I will just move by stretch here with left click. I will get the coincident constraint, this line to this point. Okay. When I finish the sketch, I have the section line here. we will just cut our part something like this. This is a rotated section view. First step, the place views. I have the section here. As you see, the definition is also here. We have a line passing through our object. Okay. Section, I will just select this line. You can use this way or this way, as you wish. Okay. This is the rotated section here. What I have is this views. Okay. You can take it back. You can also adjust your line length to inside by just moving the line end. This is our line end. I will just select with left click and move to inside like this. Okay. You can also replace the letters. Okay. I save my part file with center IDV. Okay, the next thing, we will just create the part list. I select the source view, this view, and we do OK. The software warns me about our BOM view if I would like to enable. Okay. Bitiren çıkabilir tabii ki. Aynen öyle. Okay, the next thing, we have the auto balloon. Select the view I would like to add. This is a 3-step. First, the view set here, then add the components for here. I will select every component here. Then the placement. First the view set, then the component selection, then the placement. I will just add all the details. If you want to have only one balloon here, only in this view, you can just select every component here, then select the tools. Okay. Balloons. You can just move these balloons. Part list balloon, 5 points. This section view also 5 points. The next, I will have 2 extra views here. These are our part views. Again, I will just quickly create the part views for this 5 parts. I will go and have the base view. Then I will select the desktop. I will go and select the first barrel. This is my barrel part. I have this view with right click. This is my barrel part. I have this view. For this, I need a sectional cut because I have done that section here with a breakout view. Here, for this, first I just jump to sketch, Start a new sketch. Select this view. I get the rectangle view. I will just tell the software which area to cut first. I will cut this view. I will cut this face, this window, and the next thing I will break out this view up to this point or this point. You can just choose one here, or you can just choose one here. When you just select this face, you have the views. Okay, or you can just have the same thing, we have all the same thing, same view here. Okay, the next I will add the axis lines.
Hocam Next'e geçmeden bu son yaptığımız neydi tam olarak?
Okay, the next thing, we have the axis lines, one axis here, the other one also here. Also we have a bigger one like this. I will extend this one. Also I have some hidden lines. I will just double click and change my property with hidden line removed. This will show you a smooth view. Okay, the next we have this section view. I will just make this section properties and bring the dimensions. From here, I will just go to retrieve model annotations. Here I will just bring the dimensions seen here with OK. Also the dimensions seen here with OK, if it's so. We have only one dimension to be shown at this point. Okay. Here, what I'm going to do is I will just change the format from Manage, Style Editor, from this Style Editor, get this dimension and enlarge it. With one selection, you can change the decimal marker to comma to period, with precision to 3-digit, and leading zeros and the trailing zeros unchecked. Also, if you want, you can just arrange the tolerance units to 3-digit. Also, you can just remove leading and trailing zeros. Save and close. We have the dimensions here. As you see, you can just arrange the dimensions here.
Hocam tolerans kısmını bir daha gösterebilir misiniz?
And add some dimensions again. For this is the whole dimension. I will just delete. I will give the normal thread dimension from hole and thread. For this, I will use this designation. Okay. The next, I will only adjust the dimensions. I will move further here and separate from each other. This is also 140. The biggest dimension is on the outside. Since you just come nearer to the points, you will just sort it according to its sizes. For example, I'm not going to use this one. I will just move for outside, other dimension. Also this time, I'm not going to use this. I have this dimension. Also this one. These are the dimensions related to other side. Here also I have. This is the other dimensions. You can also separate dimensions to other way, other side. You can just keep some dimensions. You organize as you wish. Okay. This is our technical drawing. Here, I would like to add base circle here. First, this is important. First, select one cylindrical full object. Then select this time, this hole, and the last you go back to this hole and right click to create. For other dimensions necessary, I will again retrieve the dimensions because I have deleted some dimensions over here. I will just bring only this dimension I need here because the other dimensions are only whole dimensions. Okay. The next, we have also thread dimension here. This is again hole and thread. I will just use this dimension. Again, this one. Okay. This is my first part. Okay. In our example, or in the exam, we have some tolerance values here, as you see. And these tolerance values we can just give by just changing the dimension properties of our parts. For example, we have a 90 millimeter radius here. Also this one, 110 millimeter diameter here. These are the tight fit connections for bearings. These are tight fit connections for bearings. And here, what I'm going to do is I will just double click and change the tolerance value from this tab. I will just go to limits and fits to show the size and limits. I will go and I will search the standard or the value given in our example. Okay. The next, I will just double click precision and tolerance with 110 millimeter. I will have show size and limits, which is N9. Press the N tool, then 9. I have the primary unit for 3 digits. As you see, we have the same tolerance value. The next thing, we have the 90, again P9. Just go to backside. It shows the size and limits with P9. Again, keyboard P, then 9 to have this dimension. Okay.